In the previous session, we explored various practice platforms available to enhance our Linux skills. If you haven't had the chance to review it yet, please find the link here. So, this session provides an in depth understanding of the different methods and platforms through which you can effectively practice and master Linux. So, here in today's session, we are going to look at the basic commands. Under that, we are going to see ls command initially, and then we will see how to work with the directories and also how to work with files. Okay, so this is how our prompt shell looks like once we have installed WSL. Okay, and I've created a user with the root privileges as well. So in our today's session, we will begin with the very basic command ls. So what is ls command used for? So it is used to list the content that is available within a directory. Okay. So if I execute ls and enter, since there is nothing available over here, we don't have anything. See, there are multiple commands that is available in Linux, and it is quite difficult for us to remember all the commands. And along with each command, there are some options also available which does a specific work. For example, the command does something, and this option, adding the option to it, enhances the property of that command as well. So, likewise, each command has multiple options also. So, again, remembering the command itself is difficult, and along with it, we have multiple options also. So, in order to overcome this, we can use another command called man. Okay. So, man is a command which takes the command as a first argument, and it will produce you the manual reference of what this actual command does. For example, if I simply say man ls and click on enter, you can see it gives me in detail what does this ls command do. So basically this is used to list the directory contents. And how can you use it? You can have ls, and there are some options along with it, and you can also have file name. So when it is in the square bracket means that it is optional. So that means even without this options, ls command is good to work, right? So ls command is used to produce the output of whatever the directories or the files, whatever the content that is available within a directory, right? So there are multiple options that I can pass with. For example, if I go with -a, this will do not ignore entries starting with dot. So that means in case if I have any hidden files that is available, it will display those hidden files also. So these things we will be able to do it in our Windows machine also, right? So when you get into the file structure, if you just right click, go to the properties and say show hidden files, you'll be able to see that hidden files also. Similarly, here, in case if you have any hidden files available within your machines, you'll be able to see those also. So we will go with some of the generic options that is available. Similarly, you have -d, which is used to list only the directories and not their contents within it, right? Similarly, you have -h, which is human readable format. So that means, for example, since there are some files and directories getting displayed, it also has some of the memory consumption, or there's a file size associated with each of it. So in order to make human understand, it could be displayed either in kilobytes or megabytes or gigabytes, so that you understand what size exactly it is. So that is why you use -h. Similarly, you have -l, which is used for a long listing format. So this basically tells me what permissions that each directory has, what permission the file has, who is the owner of it, what groups are associated, what is the file size. So all these details will be displayed to me. We will see those in action as well. Okay. Then you have hyphen r, or you can use hyphen reverse, which is used to reverse order while sorting. So whatever the files that are getting displayed, you'll be able to sort it accordingly. Okay, so we will see some of the implementation of these functions. So in order to quit this, you can just click on q, which will quit and come back to your prompt shell. Okay, so now the very first option that we did see is hyphen e. We'll check out how does that work. Okay, you can see there are some hidden files available under the current directory. So you can see these files are being presided with the dot symbol, right? So what does these hidden files basically does? Again, it's a system configuration where the system itself comes with these files mandatorily required, and there are some implementation of the functionalities of these directories as well. So all the commands that you have executed will be stored in the history. For example, since I have executed ls or man ls -a, all these are the commands that I have executed. So bash history is basically a file which captures all the commands that I have executed. So you can see this file. I'll just say cat and give dot bash history. You can see these are some of the commands that I have executed in my history. Okay, then I have this bash logout. Basically this is a script that is executed whenever the user logs out. Then you have bash rc. This is a configuration file which will help you to customize the shell basically. So, whenever you open a new terminal or start a new session, the commands under this script is going to be running. So, if you want to configure any environmental variables or give a alias name to the actual command that you're using, or any terminal settings, like if you want to change the color or change the appearance of the command prompt or set a path variable, then you will be using this bash rc file. Similarly, you have dot profile also, but this dot profile is for things that you want to set once when you log in. Whereas bash rc is for things that you want to set every time when you want to open a new terminal window. So the major difference is that when are you going to use this? So dot profile is executed when the login shell is started. So it is used to set the environmental variables and executing commands that you should run only once during the login or at the beginning of your login session. Whereas .bash rc is executed when a non-login shell is started. So whenever you want to start a new instance or go to the child from the existing shell, mainly it is used for customizing the shell environment. Then I have .vim info, which is used to store the information related to the Vim text editor. So these are some of the hidden files which comes in the configuration of the Linux distribution itself. Okay. So the next option that we have is ls-l. We call this also long listing, basically to tell that what is the information about the current directory. For example, let's simply create a simple file. I'll tell you what this command is later on, but as of now, let's say I'm creating one simple file. Okay, we will create another one and three. Okay, so now I'll execute the command ls-l. You can see it gives me in detail what this file is all about. So the very first thing, the description it gives us the permission. What permission that each file has, who is the owner of it, who is the group of it, what is the file size, when was the file created, what is the time, and in case if you're modifying, let's say I'll simply say, we will talk about this again. I'll just write hi and give control D. Okay. Now if I give okay ls-l, you can see that At 1410, it was initially created, and then it was modified at 1411. So that is my change in the timings. So again, you have another command called ll, which does the same functionality like ls-l, which is used for long listing, which gives me again in detail. Okay, so which gives me about every file which is hidden or non-hidden, about all the files. It gives me the detail with what is the permission set, who is the user group, what is the file size, everything will be mentioned over here. And I can also produce h over here. Let's produce that with ll over here. You can see it gives me in the kilobytes. Now you can see it was initially 4096. I can see 4.0k, which is in the kilobytes. So similarly, there are multiple options that is available with ls command. So this is all about ls command. In the next session, we will see how to work with the directories and also how to work with the files. That's it for today's session. Thank you.